I'm from a company called Thingstream. So a little bit about me, first of all. I've been with Thingstream for about a year. My background is in analog electronics, IT and marketing, sort of a bit of a round circle. And I've been through the mill of all of them. I've also done a bit of development as well. Had a small software company making audio applications at one point. A little bit about Thingstream. So we're an IoT connectivity company based in Bournemouth. We're spun out of a Swiss communications company called Myriad, who provide software for telcos and things like that. And although we're a startup and we've only been around a couple of years, most of our developers and engineers and the like have been together for about 25 years in various different companies. So we've got bags of experience and a team that work really well together. And I'm not actually following any of my notes here, which is good, isn't it? And with our global partnership, we're able to operate in over 600 different countries. Sorry, not 600 countries. We have partnerships with over 600 mobile network operators, which allows us to operate in over 190 countries. And our global partnerships include companies like Siemens, Rolls-Royce, who aren't actually on there, Jersey Telecom. Our solution is an internet connectivity solution for IoT devices, but uniquely does not use IP for its transport, which makes us inherently secure because there's no exposed IP address for any of our devices. And within our platform, there's connectivity management and a bit of device management and some intelligent programming as well as tools and templates to help you get started building your IoT applications. Now, first of all, we'll go with some, thank you. We'll go with some IoT predictions. These are not from me, they're from people who know much more than I do, people like Gartner and the likes. Now, they say that there's going to be over 14 billion connected devices by the end of 2019. We are well on the way to that. And that, by the end of 2021, they reckon will double to about 25 billion. So the numbers are enormous. Now, IoT spend in companies at the moment, this year we're looking at about 745 billion around the globe in dollars, and by 2022 we're going to be into sort of surpassing $1 trillion in these are sort of arms, almost like arms deal spends. It's getting big numbers, and also by 2020, this is the important statistic. More than 65% of enterprises will adopt IoT products, and that's an enormous number. I think we're somewhere around about the sort of 20 to 30-ish% now. A lot of companies don't even know they're using IoT, which is handy. So let's get on with busting some IoT myths then. So first of all, you hear the word IoT, and straight away you're thinking about things like connected cars, thermostats, connected fridges, and all of that kind of stuff. And while all that stuff is very popular at the moment, the largest adopters of IoT are actually in the business world. A good example is Caterpillar, who've been at it for a good few years now. They've been an IoT pioneer for a long time. And in fact, one of the things they do is for their equipment, so that they can service equipment out in the field quickly and easily, they have applications which, when a machine starts going wrong, or even before it starts going wrong, because they're using predictive analytics, you get a little thing gets sent out to an application that an engineer has, which gives AR instructions on how to fix the thing that's gone wrong. So that's a good example of that. Now, they've already got well in excess of over 500 million devices connected at Caterpillar, so they've been at it for a long time, and they use it for everything from diggers to boats and and large shipping vessels. So that's, this is all part of what we're calling the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, as the trendy kids like to call it, which is basically just building on essentially the computerization and automation of the workplace and bringing this new element of IoT to it. Anybody that's familiar with the world of workplace automation may already be familiar with M2M, machine-to-machine communications. IoT kind of takes that to the next level and makes it a lot easier to get things from place to place using various different internet methods. So I think we can pretty safely say that it's not just about consumer devices at all. IoT can never be secure. This is one of the ones that we're having to deal with all the time. You've probably heard lots of tales about various IT devices being hacked, becoming part of a botnet, and so on and so forth, and taking down things like the NHS. Small fry, really. And that is happening a lot. There are a lot of unsecured devices out there. But enterprises are actually starting to make IoT security a top priority now. For whatever reason, it was kind of overlooked for a while. I think a lot of the people making IoT apps may not necessarily know too much about security. We have a similar kind of situation in the IoT world as you might find in DevOps as well, i.e. you have your DevOps over here, you have your developers over here, and they don't talk to each other. We have similar in IoT, but there's all different kinds of worlds that need to talk to each other. We have DevOps as well. In IoT, there are application developers, there are the people actually using the applications, and because of all of these things, they make it very difficult. However, enterprises, like I say, are starting to actually work on this and are actually going for starting to work on end-to-end secure, policy-based security principles. Like the rest of IT, really. You're probably already doing most of that with most of your existing IT, and there's no reason that IoT should be any different. It is just another bit of IT, after all. So we can quite safely say that one's busted as well. Another one that we seem to hear about a lot is that everybody thinks that IoT is all about shoving vast amounts of data down a pipe, getting it to somewhere, and then once you've got all that data, you then unpick it, work out what you want to do with it, and all the rest of it. Not necessarily the right way or the best way to do it. Yes, sure, that is useful. Big data, having masses of data to work with is great, but there is a cost to sending that data, especially when you're into things like outdoor connectivity and things like that. You need to connect via a mobile network or whatever it might be. Or if you're sending vast amounts of information, even down wireless and down your cable connections, you've probably got to pay for all that data to get there anyway. And also devices out in the field, not only is there a cost to the data itself, but also the amount of power that device uses. Now, it might seem like nothing, a small device with a battery in it might seem like nothing, but when you've got 1 million of them out there, those costs start to add up. So actually, IoT isn't really all about big data, and it shouldn't be about big data. It should be about sending what you need when you need it. And there are numerous ways you can do that. You can either just report when things are outside of what you believe to be an accepted norm, or you can do processing at the edge to actually sort through some of your, what might be big data, actually at where the sensors are, and you might be able to get edge devices to actually do the processing, send less of it down the pipe, save yourself a fortune. So there's lots of reasons why IoT isn't all about big data. I am going through this quite quickly, actually, because I've completely ignored my cards. Now, standards for IoT. This is a difficult one. The myth is that there are no standards for IoT. And the truth is that there are lots of standards for the various bits that make up IoT, but not really any at the moment that are solid in the world of IoT itself. We've got the likes of the IoT Security Foundation working on security standards, and the likes of BSI and ISO and IEC and CENELEC are actually working on sort of overarching IoT standards as well. So we're getting there. So it's busted-ish. We'll get there eventually. The last of the myth is that there's no formal education for IoT. And if I'd have said that maybe 2 years ago, that would have definitely been the case. But over the last couple of years, we've actually seen a lot of universities now taking on IoT as a topic in its own right. And in fact, Bournemouth University offers 3 master's courses which are actually based in IoT specifically. One being a cybersecurity branch of that, and one being a data analytics branch. And Bournemouth Uni aren't the only uni doing that. There are loads of unis all over that are starting to do it now. Essex, Southampton, UCL I think are doing it. So yeah, quite a few. I don't know much about anything happening at sort of school level or anything like that, but I believe that schools are starting to play about with Raspberry Pis and that sort of thing. So they're heading in the right sort of direction. So I think that is well and truly busted. And this is the big one that everybody always quotes to me. It'll put everybody out of a job. Yeah, it's a tale as old as time. New technology means everybody's going to end up jobless. We saw that when computers entered the workplace. It made everybody redundant, didn't it? No, it didn't. So actually, it won't. It is not the next harbinger of doom. Humanity will adapt. We will find new jobs. And actually, IoT is creating lots of opportunities for in IT and technology anyway, and creating a lot more jobs. And I've got some numbers here. Yeah, in 2018, 2018 actually saw the highest rate of job growth in IoT in 3 years. And that was 76,500 new IT jobs created in 2018. And that was about 20,000 more than 2017. So it's heading in the right direction. And with IoT also comes lots of exciting new job titles as well. As I mentioned before, you've got all these different silos. Now there's got to be people that work to join those silos together, and you end up with interesting job titles like data analytics manager for IoT or whatever it might be. Essentially new IT people with new job titles, but leaning on a lot of skills that many of you in the room probably already have actually. And there's plenty of DevOps in IoT as well. We have DevOps within our company, and DevOps is one of the areas that has to grow with our organisation. We're pretty well organised at Thingstream and pretty well automated, and that's one of the reasons why DevOps is actually one of the departments that is growing for us as our business grows, because they're the ones doing all the clever stuff and the automation. So I think that is definitely busted. You guys will definitely not be out of a job because of the IoT, so I wouldn't worry about that. So that's pretty much all the myths that I've got to go through. It was pretty quick.
May I ask specifically about the company you're working for?
Yeah.
For me, it's a very interesting and new thing to market. Mm-hmm. How are you finding in terms of your business growth year on year? Is it kind of like, the figures are adding up? Are you having to borrow from the partner company, or is the business profitable?
The business isn't profitable yet. 2 years in, no, we're not profitable yet. But we are headed definitely in the right direction. We've exceeded our expectations so far this year, so that's fantastic. But yeah, business adoption in IoT is slow. Many of the companies that are trying to adopt IoT are very much in the early stages of finding out, what it is, what it's all about. Nobody's got anybody there that is a specialist that already knows IoT. So a lot of companies are building those departments, speccing out the things they want to do. And the process takes a couple of years. So we've got a few kind of customers that are sitting there building stuff that we know is going to turn into, several thousand units of monthly recurring revenue, but not yet. So yeah, we have had to lean a bit on our backers, but nowhere near as much as we thought we would.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
Great news. Well done.
yeah.
You said not IP, so why not IP? And people always say, well, IPv6, that's made for IoT. And I'm just curious as to, are you suggesting IP is not secure? Or
No. IP can be secure. If you want to secure your channels that you use through our network, the same as you would through an IP network, you can encrypt things, you can do whatever you like. However, the inherent security that we have baked into our network is the fact that we use the control part of the GSM band. SS7, exactly. You're in the right territory. So we're not actually sticking any of our data down a data channel with an exposed IP. Our IPs are, yes, it is IP based, but all of that is hidden and it's tied into the GSM communications infrastructure rather than something that can be exposed to the world. And that means that any device on our network simply cannot become part of a botnet ever, because it just has no IP to the outside world. Yes, of course they can be hacked through other means and data can be got out of them. Nothing is unhackable. But yeah, we're secure in that sense. Right. Any more?
Just out of interest, I learned a statistic a few days ago actually at another conference. The average price of a smart meter, or I think the amount, the smart meters you put in these prices now, it's about $15 to build.
Yep.
And that leaves no money for security.
No.
I was wondering, are people with your sort of customers, are they willing? Is there a number they're willing to spend before they say, I can't be bothered with the additional sort of security things that you're offering?
Not that we've found. Everyone that we've worked with thus far on a large scale project has been very, very much on top of the security aspect, and that is not even a.
Are they consumer products or industry?
No. Most of our customers are in fact industry. So
yeah, that's what the research was. If it's a consumer product, no money for security.
Yeah, that is very true, and yeah, it's massively problematic as I said, thousands of devices are being hacked all the time, and in most cases, actually, as far as the consumer and the end user is concerned, it doesn't actually matter. There's not really anything useful in a lot of cases that anyone can get. However, it does cause problems for the people that are getting attacked by the botnets. And that is the biggest exploit in IoT is devices becoming botnets. Mostly people aren't, hackers aren't interested in getting people's personal details. Although there are cases where, there was a case not too long ago where I think a smart bulb was recovered from a landfill tip and someone got the Wi-Fi passwords for somebody's home network off of it. So, that is precisely what you're saying. These cheap devices for home, they're not very good. We'll see that improve though. It'll have to. As the price of components comes down. At the moment for a decent modem, for example, that works on 3G, 4G, etc. You can be looking at like $90 just for the modem, and that's just essentially a little silver chip thing that you stick on a board, and that's $90. So you're never going to put that in a smart meter, are you? Yeah, it's going to be a while before that settles down, I think. Thank you.